Alright, everyone. Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something different. I wanted to check out the Borderlands 4 skill trees plan slash theory crafting build guide, showcasing all of the skills for all of the Vault Hunters. And I think we're going to check out Vex. I believe Rafa, and also I think Amon has also been added. Haven't really looked at all of their abilities, so I kind of want to see what they have. Maybe do a bit of a skill tree kind of build of my own, just by kind of glancing at everything and seeing what we have. Maybe look at some of these other skills and see what kind of playstyles we can get. So I think, I'm not sure if we really want the pet, which is this big cat that kind of follows us, similar to Flax Pet. Incarnate is pretty, I think, might be good, but I think we might want Dead Ringer. I am kind of a fan of the kind of minion spawning classes, like a Turk or sort of the robot with Death Trap, or OLM Jones, or the doppelgangers in the pre-sequel with Jack. So I think maybe we'll try something with that. So let's kind of see what we have here. Sanguine Friends, Idle Hands, Cold Iron, and Full Inscriptions. Let's see here. I think increase reload speed based on fullness of our health. I guess we just go 3 here for just some raw damage. That's good. Increase melee damage. Well, yeah, how is the skill? It's the so he has the specters that shoot and the reapers that do melee. So you kind of want to pick and choose what you want to really be focusing on. So melee is important. The max health capacity could be good. I think put 1 point and reload speed. Maybe 2 points there and just 2 here, something like that. Let's see. We got Vex and her minions get increased fire rate. Fire rate's decent, but we don't really need it. Status effect damage could be good. That's one of our caps, or one of our augments. We can check out those in a bit. Vex's melee attacks apply cursed enemies, making them take kinetic status effect damage anytime they take gun damage. So does that count for our minions or just for herself? So next you have to go up and physically melee them to make that really worthwhile. I don't know if that's really good. I mean, it could be good just for some damage with the status effect, but you're better off using elemental guns, it seems like. Fire rate's not that bad. I think maybe we max you out and put 2. It is a kill skill, so we put 1. Kill skills are triggered whenever minions die. I think, okay, that's good. I think we want to take that. So at least want to get some of the kill skill, at least 1 point at them. Increase minion damage and Vex's damage. I think we maxed that out. What about you? Grave quickness, kill skill, Vex gains increased action skill cooldown rate. What is the cooldown rate for this? Let's say 35 seconds. And me, it's technically, it says it's stacks, so I'm not sure. 3% at 3 stacks is 9. We technically can't see the increasing amount, so we have to leave that alone. But I think that might be worth it, maybe. What about this? I think you need this, so we're not going to really mess with this. I'm not really a fan of the kind of melee augments. I think if you had, in some playstyles it could work, but not for us. So what do we have here? Tuned skill. Well, Vex is a tuned corrosive. Does give us a kill skill. What's this? Vex and her plant supply status effects, a random one. Vex is attuned to fire. Critical hit damage is good. When Vex deals gun damage or melee damage, gains stacks of recurrence, which increases her minions in gun damage and melee damage. I think we want to at least max this out. Go down this tree at least. Vex and her specters. So specters is the ones that shoot. I think that's good for us. More than the reapers, I think. So we want to put points into this, I think. At least 3. What's this? Increases melee damage. Or minion damage, not melee damage. Minion skills and commands are further increased. It could be good. I think we put 2. What do we have here? Reapers. That's the other spirit reapers. That's the other enemy that melees them. Increase maximums when they die. Release a spirit bomb. dealing damage of their elemental type. That could be good. I don't know. I think when Vex takes damage at low health, spawn a Reaper nearby. I think we want at least put a couple points in this. This I think needs that. We max out that. Oh no, we just need this point. I think we take one of this. I think that's good. We have 36 points. We're kind of running low. Let's see what else we have here. Melee damage dealt by Vex. It could be good if you're focusing more on the Reapers, but I think the Spectres are what we want. These don't really seem interesting, even just to take them. Maybe Corrosive could be better in this type of in this game, in this type of meta, but I don't know. I think that's about it. Do we want anything else? Well, let's check out the other stuff. At least some of these top tier skills. So I think this is this is Rev kits. I think Rev kits are like basically health kits that you can use periodically. I don't know if the percentage or cooldown is necessary. I mean, maybe if Rev kits are really meta and you really want to be using them, you could take that, but I don't think so. Splash damage is always good for elemental damage. Tuned, the kinetic. It gains lifesteal and reload speed. I think that might be good, just for the lifesteal effect. Increase critical damage and weapon handling. I think we want at least maybe 2 points. I think would be good, and then we put our 3 here. We don't really want these. Maybe if this could be better if we were really using splash damage. Rev kits. I mean, I don't know if this is really necessary. Movement speed, fire rate. Yeah, we don't really need that. Gun and critical chance have a chance to apply bleed, causing kinetic stats effect over time. That could be good. 25, 9% for 4 seconds. I think you at least put just 1 point in there just for the chance. Maybe you want to, if there's a skilled class mod that could boost this skill, you would want to take it. But at least 1 point's good. What about this? Kill skill, Vex gains increased damage. And her minions, we want that, I think. Put 3. We got about a couple more points left. Let's see. Do we want any of this? I think we put another point there. What about this? Vex gain increase action skill duration. How long is our action skill? Or not, we can just look at it. So it doesn't say how long the duration is. So I'm not sure if that's good. Or it just, I guess you can only spawn 3 and you pick which ones you want. So I don't know if duration is really necessary. I think that's better for incarnate. What's this? So we skipped that one for now. Increased kinetic damage and kinetic stats effect. I mean, that could be really good. Vex's kill skills gain max stacks. Oh, wait a minute. I think this might be really good for us. Vex gains increased critical hit chance. Critical hit chance, I mean, I guess with some things that could be good, but I don't really know if that's necessary. Critical hit chance. I'd rather just have raw damage than just the chance to hit a crit on like a body. But maybe that could work with grenades or other kind of indirect abilities. But I think we want this, I think. Yeah, well that caps us out, so we're at our 49 or 50. So let's see about our capstone then. What do we have here? Vex can equip 2 augments, gaining the ability to use Dark Pack. Press and hold the action signal button, or F, to fully restore health. All active phase clones, as well as granting increased movement speed, attack speed. That could be really good. Phase clones do not lose health over time while Dark Pack is active. Oh, I think that's really good for us. We might as well take it. Now we get 2 augments, so let's see what these augments were again. Spectres gain the ability to use gas blast, dealing gun damage to near enemies. I think that could be good. We'll hold off on that one. Spawning Reaper grants Vex and their minions health regen. Spawning Spectre increases critical hit chance. What about these minions or minion skill? Reaper gains the abilities to use Harvest, dealing melee damage 3 times in a large area around them. Regens health for each hit. The Reapers will use Harvest on spawn, and every third time they melee attack. Cast Wither. Or Spectres cast Wither. on enemies when they spawn, dealing stats effect damage over time, increasing damage for the duration. It could be good just to have. What about this? Reapers can use Banshee Wails, periodically dealing damage to nearby enemies, granting Overshield. Overshield seems like a pretty cool mechanic from what I've seen. So it could be worth it. Damage increases Overshield. I think that might be good. I think we take this since, yeah, Spectres. Maybe this one or... well, this is the Reapers, but we don't care about the Reapers. I think we want to prioritize Spectres. And this gives us Spectre. So I think we take something like this. So let's see what we have so far. We have increased damage, some health regen, increased melee damage. Well, we could take the points out of these and put somewhere else. Fire rate's not really necessary. Status effect damage could be really good with really strong elemental weapons. Let's see. Maybe we take a point there. Cooldown's good. What do we have over here that we didn't mess with? When Vex takes damage, allow spawn a Reaper nearby. I mean, maybe. We could do the corrosive, but corrosive is too specific for us. I think put 1 point and maybe maybe 4 fire rate just to have just these little 2-point skills, just to dip our toes into them, since they are our kill skills. And kill skills are going to be really good apparently with this, if this works the way I think it works. But let's look at some of these other skills. Attuned to radiation, she gains increased splash damage and maximum seal capacity. But this is for Incarnate, but it's still really good. Hopefully radiation is good in this game. It was alright in Borderlands 3 from what I could, just off the top of my head of thinking about it. Compared to Shock, it was a lot better. Vex gains increased gun damage the fuller her shields are, and gains damage reduction for the lesser health. So more shield, more damage, and you get damage reduction, which is, I mean, that could be really good. Increased gun damage, gains a stack of drink full, increasing fire rate. Keen eye skill damage. So I think this is for her ability. Yeah, you want to, whenever you throw out her little orbs, that's really good. So keen eye might be good. Let's see. Can we look at abilities? I guess we could change it. Select. Let's see what this says. Vex creates a phase explosion, dealing damage to nearby enemies, fully restoring our health. While active phase can use Eldritch Blast and gains increased movement speed. Pressing an action skill button and fires an Eldritch Blast from our offhand, dealing damage to nearby enemies. On impact, dealing gun damage reduces the cooldown. That's a pretty cool ability. I guess you would, if you want to be spamming it, you could do that. And then Face Familiar. Hold on, we gotta do it here. She's joined by her minion Trouble, which is basically like a flak pack that always stays out, but it can obviously die. Teleporting teleporting Trouble, dealing damage in area Trouble, transforms into Badass, gets health and gains increased damage for the duration. Acting Phase Familiar will respawn Trouble if he dies. So basically like a ultimate version of Gamma Burst. But I think Dead Ringer is going to be our big one for this. Let's see. What's this? Grim Reaper. Spawn a Grim Reaper. That drains nearby enemies. And deals status effects over time and restores health for each enemy drained. When enemy dies while being drained, they have a chance to spawn a new Reaper. I think, well, that could be really cool, but Reapers are the melee ones. I don't know. I think the Spectres might be better for us and more in our playthrough. Status effect damage gains the chance to critical hit. That could be really good since status effect was really powerful. I think mostly in Wonderlands it was really strong. You wanted to really use status effect damage since it could crit. Since it seems like they're bringing that mechanic over to a certain extent. Whenever Vic dodges, so whenever she does some movement stuff or it kind of dashes around, she creates a Spectre and becomes invisible for a duration or to our next shot. Whoa, I didn't see this skill. I think this might be really cool. I guess you would want to prioritize this ability then, really focus on corrosive. and just have this as another special bonus. What's this? When Vex swaps her current gun, her new gun has its ammo partially restored. Another corrosive ability, increased corrosive damage and dot damage basically. Spectres get a copy of Vex's currently equipped gun for the duration. So basically, was it the copycat or something like the one that Zane has, where he gets his copy of your gun? Could be really good, just to have copy damage multiplier, so it does a little bit more damage. I mean, that could be really good, but I think we still want to do this one, or no, this one, and then we take you. Oh no, it was this. So we take these two. I think this would be our kind of our first build, or if I was doing a playthrough, I would want to do this. And then we take a little bit of these top tier skills of Incarnate. But let's look at the Phase Familiar skill. So we can reset, see what we have. Change you to phase, or not that, to you. Let's see what we have. So I guess this is kill skill over a portion of action skill duration. I don't. This triple. I guess he does have duration, but I guess that's for his ability whenever you use it. So you want to keep that up. So that could be good. Bonus kinetic damage with weapons while her active skill is active. Okay. Increase action skill damage. The higher her health is. So I assume that it increases Trouble's damage or his ability damage when you do his command. So that could be really good. What's this? Movement speed. I guess that's really not bad for her. If you're doing another sort of dead ringer, reset this. Hold on. You gotta do it with both skills. I think that could be good. Yeah, movement speed. But movement speed and damage reduction could be decent if it scales better at the end game. Sometimes a lot of these damage reductions abilities don't really do that much. Cooldown. I mean, I guess trouble is you really want to be using his command skill, so that's something you maybe want to increase gain overshield. Like I said, overshield could be really strong for her and her minions, but you could use that with Dead Ringer if you wanted to take some of these. Let's see, increase maximum capacity or maximum health capacity. Vex gains increased gun damage for a duration after using her command. Vex kill skills gain effectiveness, so I assume that boosts the stats. I'm not. What does this do then? Increases max stacks. So you get multiple. So if you get a stack of one thing, let's see. So if you get splash damage at 3.5, you technically have 3 of them. So you said you're doing about almost over 12 damage or 9 damage about, let's say, per thing. But this may increase it. Wait, where was it? Was it one of these? Where was it? I was right. Effectiveness, so 6%. So instead of 3%, it's what's where is it? What were we looking at? Instead of 3%, was it 3, 6, so about 9% instead of. That could be good if it's better. You want to combine that with that ability. Effectiveness is a bit of a vague term. That could be really good. Melee damage and ordnance. Ordnance, I think, is like grenade damage and slash rocket launcher or heavy weapon damage, since that's now like a cooldown ability, kind of like spells in Wonderlands. And I know that you can kind of use it whenever instead of having it be like a main weapon. And you can really spam grenades from what I've seen. So that could be really good if you really wanted to kind of jump between the two, spamming grenades and using your pet to deal a lot of damage. Overshield and her minions gain health regen. I mean, you want to keep trouble up as much. I think that's the goal. Critical hit damage. There you go. I think that's really good. Attune to cryo, killing an enemy. It restores ammo and ordnance cooldown. So, like I said, if you're using a lot of maybe cryo grenades or want to spam grenades, you want to maybe take this. Ordnance activation or on ordnance activation. So when she throws a grenade or pulls out her launcher or heavy weapon, gains overshield and fire rate for the duration. I wonder if that applies to her ordnance. If she's using something that's kind of a slow firing launcher, you can kind of maybe be able to spam it a bit. Increase elemental damage. I think that might be really good. Doubles effect. I think that's another really good one. I assume this would you well trouble's always out, so I assume whenever you do his ability, you get that effect. So you want to have more cooldown to be always spamming that whenever. Critical hit damage, that's not very good. I mean, maybe it could be good, maybe on certain bosses or certain enemies that have very iffy crit spots that Trouble can't reach. Tune to shock, movement speed, gun damage while moving. I think that could be really good. A lot of those movement speed while doing damage could really stack up if you increase your movement speed. Now that we'll check this out in a bit. Trouble or her minions gain more bonus shock damage. But I guess if you're this far, you're really going to be prioritizing Trouble. So I guess maybe having that on top of something else. But I guess if you're going to be using this to when Gal does gun damage, there's a chance to spawn a Spark Remnant that will seek out nearby enemies and explode, dealing shock minion damage. So if you want to be buffing minion damage, to get that to really good. Kill skill gains a life steal, not bad. Whenever you use a rev kit, that's another weird ability down here to be using rev kit. Gains bonus damage with weapons and melee damage for duration. Bonus elemental type based on Vex's currently equipped weapon. More shock damage. Trouble now marks his current target, causing them to take increased gun damage. Another debuff ability. Kill skill. When marked damage kill, Trouble gains a stack of unsealed for duration, granting health regeneration and increased damage while phase familiar is active. Unsealed effects are doubled. That might be really good. Even if you're not really using the shock damage, but still, that could be good. What about this? Double Trouble. Trouble has a chance to create an illusion near enemies while dealing damage. Critical hits have a chance to have a double for the chance. Ooh, illusion becomes badass while face familiar is active. So technically, you get two of them, kind of. Illusion chance, 50%. Duration, 8 seconds. Illusion multiplier 50%. Illusion damage taken 300%. Max illusions 3. Whoa. I thought it was only just 1. It could be really good if that's how it reads or how it is. Gains increased overshield whenever he deals damage while phasing with active. Traveled gains an element aura dealing ordnance damage over time to nearby enemies. Overshield's cool. The aura, I don't know. If it scales well, it could be good. But this right here, I think, is probably one of her better ones. Marking enemies and debuffing stuff, especially for bosses, that could be really cool. We check out this command enters beast mode, becoming immune to damage, increase minion attack speed. There you go. Take that and take that. Trouble has a chance to. Trouble gains a chance to critically hit with all attacks. Okay, and that could be good, but I guess you'd want to really command attack, pressing F to command Trouble to summon phase daggers overhead. At fire at nearby enemies dealing melee damage on impact. I guess you wouldn't. I guess this is just for troubles. I don't think that's really good. Maybe it could be good if it scales right. That's usually how you want to judge some of these skills. Trouble now taunts enemies, making them more likely to target him. I mean, if this was sadly you only get one because Flag had something like this, but you could get 2 augments. So having a thing to taunt is really good, but if it's going to take up one of your only one spot, you would want something maybe like this or even this or one of these other ones. So I don't know about that one. Taunting's really good if you can really take advantage of it, but it's like I said, you only have one spot. If you had, but this gives you it, but you have to go all the way down here to get something out of this, which maybe you kind of want. I think like Dead Ringer and Face Familiar could really combo. Maybe you have that or take this and maybe try, but I best barely get down to here, but I don't know if you'll have enough points to make it. So I guess it's not really worth taking for the taunt. Press and hold command to explode himself, dealing grenade damage or launcher damage to all nearby enemies and restore health to Vex. I mean, maybe that could be good in a pinch. After command to blink strike towards your enemy, dealing damage. I mean, I think this is probably the better of these 2 early ones, just to deal damage. If you really need the health regen, you could take that or the health back. Let's see, did we look at any of these? Let's maybe do another build. I guess for Face Familiar, if we really want to do it. Increased duration. Hold off on that. Kinetic damage with weapons. Okay. Action skill to higher health. That could be good. Movement speed and damage reduction. I think we put 2. And then we go 3. Don't really need that. Kinetic. I guess maybe if it scales better to where it's better to use kinetic guns instead of using like a fire enemy on a flesh target, because fire does more. But if kinetic can outdamage it, then maybe it's a little bit better. But I don't think it really gonna outdamage it. So you're better off using fire on flesh instead of trying to use kinetic based off all these bonuses. So let's see here. Trouble cooldown. Maybe just 1 point just to have it. Overshield. I think maybe 1 point. Another 1 pointer. So I guess we max you out for 1 point. Put 2 here just to get down. Critical hit damage. Yes, I think we want that. Health regen could be good. We are going to prioritize trouble, obviously, so we want melee damage. I think we put 2. Ordnance could be really good with grenade spam. Put 1. I think we hold off, maybe come back to this one. Which one did we want? I guess this is what we want. So I guess maybe we go heavy into shock. What was this other one? Yeah, I guess we take this then. What do we have here? Elemental damage. I think you want to at least have that. The combo with everything. And Vex and her minions gain increased damage up, but Vex gains increased damage taken for a duration. If this isn't that bad in like terms of health damage and how much damage enemies can deal to you, that might be not that bad. So maybe you want to take this, but we don't really know how the scaling is going to work. So let's avoid that one. I think we take you and prioritize shock, I guess. We deals damage, spark remnant. I think we put 2. Put 2. What about you? Lifesteal. And then we have health regen somewhere. Or did we not put points in? Movement speed, overshield. We not have health. I guess we put 1 point in just to have it. And we put 3. Take our maxing skill. We got 30. I guess we put 4 then. And maybe we go into Dead Ringer and get some of these skills, at least some of these top skills. Oh, here's the health regen. Well, I mean, if we're going down there, yeah. I guess we put 1 point or 2 points. Reload speed not necessary. Melee damage, since we are using trouble, but we want the gun damage for ourselves. I guess we put 2 and 3. We leave these. Fire rate we don't need. Shaz effect damage could be really good with trouble. We don't really want that. I think we put 3. Kill skills, or whenever Vex's minions die. I mean, because we're only really using trouble, I don't think that's good. Kill skill, I think we put 2. We got running out of points. Anything in top tier here. Splash damage, lifesteal. We already have her health over time. I think that might be a bit better for us. And increase damage and weapon handling, and then we put 2 points there. And then what do we want? We want you, command, trouble enters beast mode, becoming. I think that might be really good. Or blink strike. Ooh, that could be good. I think we take that. I think that's a pretty good skill. But I think we would want some of these other skills, pardon me. Because I think Unseal might be really good compared to these other ones. Double Trouble might be really good if you can really stack up the damage, and you could maybe use a sacrificial essence if the health damage that takes isn't so bad. We got critical hits, chance to restore action skill cooldown, so you can keep. I assume that means you can keep spamming your F ability, because Trouble I think is always out, so not like you have to spawn him. Wait to spawn him, increase critical hit damage for enemies below. Well, that could be really good. Maybe you would want to go down here. If this skill was as good as it could be worth it. I don't really think these skills are worth it. Cryo might be really good. It's always has been, but I don't think you want to be prioritizing cryo if there's a lot of cryo resistant enemies. Same with shock. There's always kind of that give and take. But I think this might be a kind of a general build that we want to have. Only 2 points just for that little bit of damage, and then some of these extra points that give our minion more damage and her some more damage. And we look at everything. Spectre gains a copy. I think Vex is probably going to be one of the characters I maybe start with. I think Amon probably might be my go-to because he's a lot more. From what I've seen, he seems to be a little bit more of my playstyle. Be more of like a tanky kind of elemental mixed abilities. Always using your active skills. But I think Vex here might have really cool. I still think I might go Dead Ringer, but Incarnate might be really good. Face Familiar could be really good. I think Trouble has, from the few little bit of gameplay I've seen of that early play testing, seems that Trouble can be really strong, but I guess it depends on how you kind of want to use them. More of him dealing all the damage, or him kind of being like a support and kind of drawing aggro away from you. Cryo damage, I think. We don't really need to look at all the skills on the tree, but we kind of just want to look at everything and get a general idea of what we want to do. But I think maybe Incarnate might be good. Let's just do a quick little build to see what we're going off of what we feel. Yeah, we don't need that. Splash damage is fine. Kinetic damage, I guess put 2. Yeah, put 3 here. Rev crits, nah, it's not necessary. We're not really using minions. Chance to apply bleed, at least put 1 point. And then gun damage, put our 3. Action skill duration, I think we want that. So we need a bit more points. I guess we put 2. Put 3 there. We want kinetic damage. I don't think it's really necessary. I think we want to max you out. Increased critical hit chance. I guess we put 1 point in, or 2 points in. Radiation. No. And gun damage. This could be really good. I think we want to at least put 3 there just to have that. Put 3 or 2 here. Increase skill damage. I don't think that's good. Increase Vex's maximum health capacity and health regen. What was this one? I don't think. And what's this? I think we go down middle here, but we at least want to put some 0.3 here at least. We don't need that. Well, maybe just 1 point just to have the the health regen. Put points here. I guess we max you out to get down. Magazine size and weapon swap speed. It could be good. Chance to trigger kill skills when crit. Ooh, well, it's 1%, so it's probably only 5%. I mean, at least put 1 point in it just to have it. Intermediate gain elemental damage. That's good. Put 3 there. I guess we put 1 point. When Vex enters fight for life, she immediately gets a second win and becomes invincible for the duration. Okay, let's see how many points we got. 36. Let's go back here. Minions. Nah. I guess we put 3 here just for some damage, health, healing over time. I guess some reload speed. Stats, effect damage could be good. There really wasn't anything here. Heal skills, restore active duration. Well, we could put 2 points there since we want duration. Action skill damage. Actually, that's really good for her. How many points do we got? Put, I think 3. We don't really overshield. No. Let's go back to Dead Ringer. I guess stats, effect damage, and maybe fire rate. Well, we only have 2 points, so I think that's what we want. Then go back to Incarnate. Let's see, we want, I guess we take you. What about you? Dealing damage with her abilities. Will receive Vex's currently equipped gun and grant her stack of Witchy Trigger Finger. Increasing gun damage for duration. I think that might be good. What about you? Dealing status effects to nearby enemies gains overshield. I mean, maybe for more survivability if you need it. For early on, that might be good for more Instead of causing phase explosions, she launches a Geist Wave dealing ordnance damage. We're not really expecting the ordnance, so I don't think that's going to do. Can't really buff it. Early on, that could be good just to deal some like huge AoE damage. What about you guys? Killing an enemy while Incarnate is active spawns a soul orb that deals status effect damage over time. Isn't this like the in range, ordnance? Isn't that kind of like the spirit whisper spirit soul from Wonderland? I think it was the Blightcaller has that ability, or I think it's the capstone was the kind of like little thing that would fly around and deal damage to enemies, and it's actually really powerful from what I can kind of remember off the top of my head. You really wanted to get it if you were doing Blightcaller. I think that kind of how it works, but I don't know. It could be good if it scales well. But I think we maybe take this just for gun damage. Phase explosion, and restore shield for each enemy hit, increases damage based off of Rex's current shield or current shield. I guess we just take this just for the damage. I think that's a pretty good build. What do we have here? Yeah, we don't really want. Well, I guess if you really went to health regen, you could really take advantage of this. This might be good too. Also, all of these two top ones could be good for certain situations, especially for early game, since it's what you're going to have early game. This could be really good if it scales well, but I think this is probably going to be like the better one for like any typical normal playthrough once you get to max level or get down to this level of your tree. So I think that's pretty much it. We've seen everything. We put a little bit into here. We've seen these skills. Put a little bit here just for some damage and some duration to help us keep our abilities up. But I think that's going to be it for Vex. I think Vex is probably going to be my second maybe playthrough character after Amon. I think Rafa and Rafa might be another one that I could maybe try early on. We haven't seen I believe Harlow, the other character that we haven't seen. We're probably going to see her soon as of recording this video, so who knows. But I might try her out too. She seems like another interesting kind of elemental kind of crowd control character, but who knows. But Vex, I think Vex has a lot of, I think she's probably going to be a little bit broken, at least from some of these abilities if they scale well. And I guess it just depends on the meta or how the balancing goes. So guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video about looking at Vex's abilities. And I guess that's it. I'm gonna also do Rafa and Ayman since they're available on this website, Max Rural. If you guys want to check it out. Now, some of the other big YouTubers have done it. I've seen little bits and pieces, but I haven't really checked out all of the characters' abilities, especially now that Amon is available. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it, and goodbye.